So students, let's start the next chapter, that is the organic chemistry, general organic chemistry. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the basic principles and techniques which are present in the organic chemistry. So you have studied about the organic chemistry in the previous class, class 10th, in carbon and its compound. So there we have studied about the different properties of carbon. Then after that, we have studied about some of the naming techniques for the organic compounds. So here we are going to go in more detail in that. We are going to discuss about some more thing, that is the structure or the representation of these organic compounds, how they are represented, what is the different ways to represent the organic compounds, how they are named, what is the rules for naming the organic compound, what are the different classifications of organic compounds. These all things will be included in our chapter. Also, what are the different kinds of behavior, or what are the different kinds of laws on which organic compounds are being based on. Okay, what are the different laws and what are the different things on which we will see that the organic compounds are reacting or organic compounds can behave, and what are the various functional groups and their preference. Okay, which we will give the preferences for the functional groups which are present in nature. So let's start with the definition of the organic compounds. So what is an organic compound? So the compounds, the chemical compounds which are obtained or produced, which are obtained or produced by living beings such as plants, unicellular organisms, animals, etc., etc., are called organic compounds. Later it is discovered that the organic compounds are hydrocarbons. They are the hydrocarbons. Okay. So what are hydrocarbons? The hydrocarbons are the chemical compounds which are consisting of carbon and hydrogen bonded with a covalent bond, bonded with a covalent bond. Okay. The study of the organic compound, the study of the organic compounds is termed as, the organic chemistry. So hence this is the introduction of organic chemistry, or the abstract of the organic chemistry. So the hydrocarbons and their derivatives, they are only the organic compounds, and we are going to study about them in our organic chemistry. So the first thing which we are going to study here is some of the basic properties of the carbon. Okay, some of the basic properties of carbon is necessary here in order to understand the nature of the different organic compounds, because carbon is one of the major constituent particle of the organic compounds. Okay, so first property of the carbon is that it is tetravalent. Carbon is a tetravalent compound. So carbon atomic number 6, its electronic configuration becomes 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Okay, so in the outermost shell we will see that there are 4 electrons. Okay, and these 4 electrons will be shared with other atoms, other orbitals in other atoms in order to form the bond here, that is covalent bond. Okay, so here the carbon will obtain hybridization. Okay, it will obtain hybridization to form the compounds with other elements. So here we will see that 2s and 2s2 and 2p2. This is the orbital diagram for carbon, and here which is in their ground state. Okay, this is the ground state for the carbon's orbital. And in the excited state, when they are hybridized with each other, we have studied about hybridization, and when they get hybridized here, what will happen here, we will see that due to hybridization, and here 4 orbital, that is 1s and 3p orbitals will hybridize with each other. So therefore sp3 hybridization can be occurred out here. Okay, so here in this case, in the excited state, we will see that 4 half-filled orbitals can be formed out. Okay, so here the overlapping of these 4 orbitals will take place with the other orbitals of different elements. So that can be hybridized also, or simple orbitals also. Okay, so this is the tetravalency or the nature of the carbon compound. Next is the versatility of carbon compound. Versatility of carbon atoms, not compound, carbon atom. So carbon atom being having 4 valence electrons, it has the nature to form single covalent bonds with the elements like hydrogen. It can form double covalent bonds with the oxygens. It can form triple covalent bonds with the atoms like nitrogens. Okay, so carbon is having versatile nature, and it can form single bonds also, single covalent bonds also, double covalent bonds also, and triple covalent bonds also with the elements. Also, they can form covalent bonds with almost of the elements present in the periodic table. They can form the covalent bonds with the almost of the elements present in the periodic table. Very few will be there which will be unable to react with the carbons. Okay, which will be unable to react here with the carbon atom. Okay, next they have the high tendency to share electrons. They have the high tendency to share electrons, so therefore they will be possessing covalency, and the covalency for carbon is 4. Okay, it is 4. Now next is the catenation property. The next property is the catenation property. Catenation. So what is catenation? In catenation, the carbon atoms can bond with other carbon atoms, can bond with other carbon atoms with single, double or triple covalent bonds. Okay, it can bond with other carbon atoms with single, double or triple covalent bonds, to covalent bonds to form long chain like structures, to form long chain like structures called polymers, called polymers. This phenomena is called catenation. Okay, this phenomena is termed as catenation property. So generally, carbon atoms can attach with other carbon atoms to form cyclic chains also, or they can attach with each other to form uh, straight open chain compounds also, okay, which is having n number of carbons. They can be forming branched carbon atoms also like this. They will be able to form branched carbon atoms like this, okay. They can form cyclic, non-cyclic, any type of compounds, okay. So different types of compounds can be formed out here by the joining or the linking of carbon atoms with other carbon atoms, okay. So this property is termed as catenation property. Now let's see what is the different hybridization which can occur out in the case of hydrocarbons. So first was the sp3 hybridization. So in sp3 hybridization we can observe that sp3 hybridized carbon atom will be having a tetrahedral structure. It will be having a tetrahedral structure. Here I am forming a tetrahedral structure here, which is bonded with 4 hydrogen atoms, okay, and it is forming methane. And here the bond angle between the hydrogen, it will be 109.5 degree, okay, it will be 109.5 degree. Next, it can have sp2 hybridization also. It can possess sp2 hybridization also in the case when carbon is forming a single bond with other carbon atom, okay. When carbon is forming a single bond with other carbon atom, in this case we will observe that the carbon is possessing uh, okay, here in this case we will see that the carbon is having a pi bond and a sigma bond with other carbon atom, okay? A sigma bond with other carbon atom and 3 orbitals, okay, 3 hybridized orbitals will be formed out. 3 hybridized orbitals will be formed out, okay. So here we will see that the carbon is possessing sp2 hybridization and the compound here it is forming CH2 double bond CH2, that is ethene. I have taken the example for ethene, okay. So here what will happen, here in this case the p orbitals, only 2 shells will take part here. 2 suborbitals of the p orbital will take part here in the hybridization process, and one orbital will be left out there as an unhybridized orbital. Similarly, it can have sp hybridization also. It can possess sp hybridization also. Okay. So in the case here, in the sp hybridization, here we will see that the carbon, it is having only one orbital from the p as an hybridized orbital with one s orbital, that is 2s orbital, and 2pz orbital will be forming a hybridized orbital, and the rest 2p orbitals will be having their similar structure. Okay, so here the structure here, it will be py orbit px orbital, sorry, px orbit py orbital. Okay, this is px orbital, this is py orbital, and little bit I will change here like this. And this is the hybridized, two hybridized orbitals of the carbon, and one hybridized orbital of the carbon here, like this. Carbon, this is p orbital, this is p orbital, and this is one more hybridized orbital of the. So this is the structure for two pi bonds will be formed out here, one pi bond here with the x orbital, and one pi bond due to the py orbital. Okay, so two pi bond, this is one pi bond and this is another pi bond, and two sp hybridized orbitals which are forming a sigma bond with other carbon atom and one sigma bond with the two hydrogen atoms per carbon. So this is the structure for your sp hybridized carbon atom. Okay, let's move further and let's see the type of representation, how we will represent the structural representation for the hydrocarbons. Structural representation of organic compounds or hydrocarbon compounds. So here the first representation of the organic compound is generally done by molecular formula. So everyone is aware about molecular formula. It is written like this: CH4, C2H6, C3H8. Okay, like this we can write, etc. These are termed as molecular formula. Molecular formula. Next is your structural formula. Structural formula. In the structural formula for CH4, the structural formula will be, when we are representing the bonds with lines, single bond with a single line, double bond with double line, triple bond with a triple line. Okay, so for single bond I am taking example of methane, for double bond I am taking example for ethene, CH2 double bond CH2, and for single bond triple bond ethyne. Okay, so these are some of the example for the single bond, double bond and triple bond representation of the structural formula for the compounds formed by hydrocarbons or organic compounds. Similarly, we can represent the compounds such as functional group compounds such as C double bond O, OH, CS3, Three hydrogens combined with one carbon and one OH will be combined out here with ethanol. Okay, like this compounds can also be represented here by structural formula. Okay, so these are some of the structural formula for different compounds of the organic compounds. Next is the condensed formula. Condensed formula. Okay, for the long chain formula, such as if I am drawing a propane 1, 2, 3, H, 2H here, 1, 2, 3. So for propane, we can write the condensed formula as CS3, CH2, CS3. It will be propane. Also, we can represent it as CS3, CH2, CS3. Okay, so this is termed as condensed formula. It will be termed as condensed formula. CS3OH or CS3OH, CS3COOH or CS3COOH. Okay, CH2 double bond CH2, CH triple bond CH. Like this, the different compounds can be expressed out in the condensed formula. Next is the bond line structure. Bond line structure. Okay, so here CH3, CH2, 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 CH2 and CH3. So 6 carbon atoms are there. So this 6 carbon atom chain, that is hexane, can be represented in the bond line structure as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, here each corner of this bond line structure will be representing one carbon atom consisting of appropriate hydrogen atom. Okay, consisting of appropriate hydrogen atom. Similarly, if I am representing here a chained carbon atom, a chained carbon compound, hydrocarbon here, then it will be represented here as like this, CH3. It is also propane, but here in the third carbon atom, what has done, a methyl group is attached out here. So here I am representing it like this, or in some compounds it will be represented like this also. Okay, because it is methyl group only, so a single line will be there which is denoting it. If I am joining some other elements here, CH, Cl, CH2, CH3. Okay, so here it will be, this is for your hexane, and in the fifth carbon, okay, in the fourth carbon, a chlorine is attached out. So this will be the structure for your chlorohexane. Chlorohexane, and here chloro is in the one, two, three, third position, so it will be 3-chlorohexane. Okay. Next, bond line structure for cyclocompounds. So for cyclocompounds, let's say CH2, not CH3, CH2, 3C are combined together in a triangle form, and each carbon requires now only 2 hydrogen to complete their tetravalency. Okay, so this kind of compounds are termed as cycloalkanes. They are termed as cycloalkanes, and here the bond line structure will be a triangle. For penta, okay, here it will be pentagon. Okay. For hexagon, for cyclohexane, it will be a hexagon. Okay. So like this we can represent them. Okay. Like this we can represent the different cyclocompounds or aliphatic compounds by bond line structure. Next, next is the wedge formula. Wedge formula. The example for the wedge formula, we generally use a solid wedge. Okay, a solid wedge will be used out here like this, and here it will be just colored here. Okay, so sorry, I will make it by using more darker. Okay, so here we will represent the wedge by using more dark color like this. Okay, it will be represented by dark color like this, which I am representing here. So this representation for the carbon atoms bonding here, it will be termed as solid wedge. It will be termed as solid wedge. Okay, a heavy line. And then a dashed wedge can also be used. Like this, we can use a dashed wedge. Okay, dashed wedge, which is used to depict the bond below the plane. Okay, it is generally used to depict the bond below the plane, while the solid wedge, it is used to indicate a bond projecting above the plane. Okay, above the plane of the paper, if you want to show some bond, so we will use the heavy edge or the solid edge. And for depicting the bond below the plane, we will use this dashed wedge. Okay, we will use this dashed wedge. Okay, so for representing alkane here. Okay, alkane, for representation of alkane, the solid wedge structure will be found out here like this. For the carbon atom which is present above, and for the carbon atom which is present below the plane, it will be represented with a dashed wedge here. Okay, so this is the representation of the wedge formula. It is termed as the wedge formula of the organic compounds. Now let's move further and see the next topic, that is the classification of organic compound. Classification of organic compounds. So organic compounds, they can be classified majorly into two groups. One is acyclic or open chain compounds. Next is the cyclic or closed chain compounds. Okay. Then in the closed chain compounds, homocyclic or heterocyclic, and in the homocyclic, alicyclic, and aromatic. In the aromatic, benzenoids and non-benzenoids. These are the classification of organic compounds. This is the classification of the organic compounds. Okay. So here these are the different types of organic compounds which can be found out here. Acyclic compounds are also termed as aliphatic compounds. They can be also termed as the aliphatic hydrocarbon compounds. Okay. So generally taking simple examples for open chain compounds, the compounds which are containing different open and closed, okay, different open and different starting point and different ending point for the chain of the carbon atom, it is termed as an open chained hydrocarbon. Okay, so or they can call it as aliphatic hydrocarbon compounds. Okay, aliphatic hydrocarbon compounds, open chain hydrocarbon compounds. Now in the alicylic hydrocarbon compounds, in the closed chain there is one. In the closed chain, the first is the alicyclic. Alicyclic. So alicyclic are the compounds containing ring of 3 or more carbon in them. They resemble aliphatic compounds in many of their properties. Okay, they will be similar to that of the aliphatic compounds in many of their properties. Okay, for example, these are some of the examples, that is cyclobutane, cyclopropane. Okay, like this they will be having the property which are similar to that of their open chain compounds or aliphatic compounds. Aliphatic compounds. Okay, next is the aromatic compounds. After alicyclic, the next is the aromatic compounds. So they have a cyclic system containing at least one benzene ring. Okay, they are having cyclic structure and they will be containing at least one benzene ring. The parent member of the family is called benzene. Okay, so what is the structure for benzene? A 6 carbon compound where each carbon atom is containing one hydrogen, and their double bond will be present in each alternative carbon atom. Okay, so the symbolic representation, the bond line representation for the benzene can be like this, or it can be also represented by a diagram or a structure like this, and it is termed as benzene. So benzene is an aromatic compound, and the compounds which are formed by benzene, it will be termed as aromatic compounds. For example, toluene, phenol, benzoic acid, etc. Aniline, okay, benzaldehyde, many more can be examples. Next is the benzenoid compounds. Okay, these are also termed as benzenoid compounds. Next is the non-benzenoid compounds. Non-benzenoid compounds. Non-benzenoid compounds. So in the non-benzenoid compounds, benzene will not be present. Okay, benzene will not be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Benzene will not be present out there. Okay, so this is one of the example where benzene is not present, but in the planes of benzene, a tropolene is the tropolone. It is termed as tropolone. Similarly, in this compound, it is azulene, where we will see that the absence of benzene group is there. Okay, the absence of benzene group is there. And the next is the heterocyclic compounds. So heterocyclic compounds, all the carbon atoms will not be present. The ring will be there, but the ring will be containing other compounds than that of the carbon atoms. For example, like this here, which is pyrrole, where one nitrogen is there in the ring. Similarly, furan, where one oxygen will be there in the ring. Okay, this is furan. Next is the thiophene, where one sulfur will be there in the ring here. Okay, double, double, double bond. Tetrahydrofuran, CH2, 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 O, CH2. Okay. Here it will be CH only one H will be there. In the case of furan, thiophene, thiophene, okay, and pyridine, CH, CH, double bond CH and CH, CH. Okay, so here it will be pyridine, pyridine. So these are some of the examples for your heterocyclic compounds, where other than carbon atoms will also be present in the rings. Okay, in the cyclic compound, other than carbon atoms will also be present. Next is the functional groups. Functional groups. So an atom or group of atoms that determines the characteristic property determines the characteristic property of an organic compound okay, it will be termed as is a functional group, is a functional group. Okay, so here we can take example of double bond. Okay, in alkenes, double bond is present, and double bond here is representing or defining this compound, that is alkenes. So here the double bond, that is CH2 double bond CH2, which is ethene. So here this double bond will be termed as a functional group here. It will be termed as a functional group. Okay. Similarly, in an alcohol, when we are seeing alcohols, which is containing a hydrocarbon group containing hydroxyl group. So here this hydroxyl group will be termed as functional group. Similarly, if we are taking example for aldehydes. So here we will be having this CHO group or aldehyde group as a functional group here. Okay. So these are the compounds which are defining, okay, these are the atoms or compounds which are defining our hydrocarbon atoms or hydrocarbon compounds. They will be termed as the functional group. Okay, they will be termed as the functional group. Now let's see some of the functional groups, different functional groups. So the first type of functional group which I am going to show you here is the characteristic. First is the functional group. Functional groups containing carbon-carbon bond. Containing carbon-carbon bonds. Okay. So here alkenes can be there, alkynes can be there, and arenes can be there. So the alkenes, carbon chain containing double bonds. Alkynes, carbon chain containing triple bonds. And arenes, where carbon closed chains containing double bonds. Okay, carbon chain containing double bonds. So they will be termed as arenes. So these are some of the functional group which are present in the carbon-carbon, and they will be due to carbon-carbon multiple bonds. Sorry, I have missed this thing. So it will be multiple bond also. Next is the functional group containing containing carbon bonded to oxygen by a double bond. Okay, so here they are also termed as carbonyl functional groups. The other name for such carbon atoms, it is carbonyl functional group. And here structure for the carbonyl functional group will be like this. Okay, compulsorily the carbon's two bond will be with the double bond will be with the oxygen, and the two bonds will be vacant out here, which will be combined with other carbon chain or other alkyl group or other hydrogens also. Okay, so here the functional groups which can be, the first is the aldehydes. Aldehydes. So aldehydes, in the case of aldehydes, carbon double bond and one bond with hydrogen, it will be there. The the symbol here, it will be CHO. Okay, CHO. Next is the ketones. This is ketone. CO dash CO dash bond CO bond. Okay. Next is the carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acids. C double bond O OH. Symbol bond COOH. Next is the esters. Okay, COO dash. These are the esters. Next is the acid halides. Acid halides. C double bond O X. Okay, and representation is COX. Next is the amides. Amides. C double bond O NH2. CONH2. Next is the nitriles. nitriles, that is carbon triple bonded with nitrogen. Okay, here the symbol will be Cn or Nc. Okay, Cn or Nc. So these are some of the carbonyl compounds, and generally carbonyl compounds are termed as, carbonyl functional groups are termed as terminating functional groups. They are the chain, or if we are leaving some of them, such as the esters, okay, the ketones, if you are leaving these two, then we will see that all the other carbonyl functional groups are chain terminating groups. Chain terminating functional groups. So keep all these things in your mind. It will be useful for you when we are going to study about the IPAC naming system here. Okay. So this is the functional groups. Okay, this is the functional groups. Acha, more functional groups are there. Functional groups with carbon bonded to atoms, like functional groups with carbon bonded to atoms like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. So here one will be two other atoms like nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus. First is the alkyl halides, represented by Rx, where R is an alkyl group and the functional group here is X. Next is the alcohols, represented by ROH. Functional group is OH here, that is hydroxyl group. Next is the ethers, ROR. Here functional group is O. Amines, RNH2. Here the functional group is NH2, that is amines. Thiol, that is RSH. Here functional group is SH, thiol. Okay. So these are some of more functional groups other than that of the carbonyl functional groups. Now let's talk about the homologous series. Okay. Homologous series. So homologous series, a uh, series of similarly constituted compounds in which the members possesses the same functional group and have similar characteristics and possess similar characteristics. Okay, here we will see that each member here, okay, each member here is differentiating by a CH2 group. The difference between each member here, it will be a CH2 group, or their molecular mass of the successive member, okay, of the successive member will be more than 15 atomic units. Sorry, 14 atomic units, not 15, 14 atomic units than the preceded member. Okay, then the preceded member. Okay, so for example, here we can take for alcohols CH3OH, C2H5OH, C3H7OH. Okay, so here we will see that here when we are increasing the number of carbon atoms, each member is differing with a difference of CH2 group. In each of the member here we will see that one CH2 group is been increased out. Okay, so this is forming a homologous series. Similarly, for carboxylic acid, for other, that is CH4, C2H6, C3H8, etc. On moving further, we will get more members here. So these all are the examples for the homologous series. Now let's have the different classes. Okay, how to nomenclature the aliphatic compounds. What is the rule to nomenclature the aliphatic compounds? So the first is the IUPAC system. IUPAC system for naming the aliphatic compounds, for the nomenclature of the aliphatic compounds. So IUPAC, what does this IUPAC means? I means international, U means union, P means international union, and after that a for is there, for pure, then and is there, applied chemistry. So this is the full form for the IUPAC, that is International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry. So the method to nomenclature, the method for the nomenclature or naming of the aliphatic compounds according to the IUPAC, that is the one of the main body which is regularizing the rules and regulation for the chemistry. Okay, for pure and applied chemistry, the rule is that first we have to use the word root. We have to see the word root. Then the suffix is used, and then we are using the prefix. Okay, so first we have to study about the word roots, then we will study about the suffixes and the prefixes. Okay, so let's start with the word root. So what is the word root? Word. So let's start with the alkanes. Alkanes. The word root for alkane is CnH2n plus 2. Okay, CnH2n plus 2, where N is the number of carbon atoms. Number of carbon atoms. Okay, so here the example in the alkane can be CH4, one carbon atom, so then 2 into 1 plus 4, 2, it will be 4. C2H6, C3H8, C4H10. Okay, like this, by using this formula only I am making this compound here. C4 means N is 4, so 2 into 4, 8, 8 plus 2, 10, so C4H10. Okay, so this is the compound of, okay, this is the formation of the word root here. Similarly, for alkenes, the word root will be CnH2n. This will be the word root. Okay, so here the compound will be C2H4, C3H6, C4H8. Okay, so this will be representing the alkenes. Next is the word root for alkynes. Alkynes. So here it will be CnH2n minus 2. So here the example can be C2H2, C3H4, C4H6, C7H12. Okay, so these are some of the compounds or the name. These are the some of the ways to use the word root here. Okay. Similarly, word roots can be used out for alcohols also. 2N plus 1 OH. So the compounds here, it will be for alcohols. If I am writing the word root, then it will be like this. And the compounds here, it will be C1H3OH, C2H5OH, C3H7OH. Okay, it is following this rule only. You can see that C1 means 2 plus 1, C2 means 4 plus 1, C3 means 6 plus 1. Okay, so like this we are increasing the homologous series here and the formation of compound is taking place here. So this is termed as word root. This particular formulas, this particular general formulas, it is termed as the word root. Okay. Next is the suffix. Okay, so generally the word root is depending on the number of carbon atoms. Okay, the word root is depending on the number of carbon atoms. So chain length, then word root. Chain length 1 carbon, meth. Chain length 2 carbon, eth. Chain length 3 carbon, prop. Chain length 4 carbon, but. Chain length 5 carbon, pent. Chain length 6 carbon, hex. Chain length 7 carbon, hept. Chain length 8 carbon, oct. Chain length 9 carbon, non. Chain length 10 carbon, dec. Chain length 11 carbon, undec. Chain length 12 carbon, dodec. Chain length 13 carbon, tridec. Okay, tridec, like this the name will be there. Next is the chain length for 20 carbon. Okay, if 20 carbon is there, then icosane. Chain length for 30 carbon, triacantane. Okay, like this the naming will be there for the word roots. Next is the suffix. So the word root is linked with suffix. Word root. The word root can also be termed as alk name. It can be termed as alk name. Okay, so this word root is linked with suffix. Okay, and here the suffix can be of two types. That is, one is your primary suffix. So primary suffix generally shows the bond type by which a carbon atom is bonded with other carbon atom. Okay, so here generally primary suffix are having three suffixes, that is ane, which is used for single covalent bonds, ene, double covalent bonds, ine, triple covalent bonds. Okay, for single covalent bond, double covalent bond, and triple covalent bond between the carbon atoms. Then the name will be like this. And if more than double or triple, more than one double or triple carbon atoms are there, so for 2 it will be di, for 3 it will be tri, for 4 it will be tetra, and so on will be used out there. Okay, for representing more number of double or triple bonds, here we will use the numbers according to the number. For 2 we will be using di, for 3 we will be using 3 tri, For 4 we will be using tetra, penta, hexa, octa. Like this we will be using out the numbers there to represent the suffixes containing out more number of double or triple bond. Next is the secondary suffix. Secondary suffix. So generally secondary suffix represents the primary functional group. Okay, it will represent the primary functional group. Now I am using a word here, primary functional. Okay, so what is this primary functional group? The primary functional group means here the functional group which is having higher preference as comparison to that of the other functional groups which are present in a single compound. Okay, some of the functional groups are having more preference as comparison to that of the other functional groups which are present in a single compound. So that particular primary functional group will be represented in the secondary suffix. Some of the examples can be for alcohols, we will be using suffix as "ol". For carboxylic acid, we will be using the suffix as "oic acid". Okay. For aldehydes, we will be using the suffix as "al", al. Okay. For acid chlorides, we will be using suffix as "oil chlorides". For acid amides, amide. For cyanides or nitriles, that is CN, we will be using nitrile. Okay, so these are some of the examples for the secondary suffix which we will be using, and it is depending on the primary functional group which is present in your chain. Okay, which is present in your chain. So on summating all these things, okay, on summating all these things, the last is the prefix. The last is the prefix. The prefix is representing the secondary functional groups or substituent chains. Substituent chains or side chains, they will be representing there. Okay, so here we will, if we are going to submit all these things, so here the main rule for the IUPAC naming system will become like this: prefix plus word root, or we can also call them as alk name, plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. Secondary suffix. So for today I am concluding my class here only, and in the next class I will use this rule, that is the prefix plus alk name plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix, in order to name the different compounds of hydrocarbons. Okay, so we will continue the further topics in the next class. Thank you for watching this video.